Tice Madox Solicitors is results-oriented, but with a distinctive approach tailored to our clients' needs in our specialist fields: immigration law, criminal law, employment law, commercial law, family law, and contracts law. We are well equipped in our litigation and advocacy for the benefit of our clients, corporates, and individuals. Why not visit us at 5 Oakfield House, Oakfield Road, Ilford, London, IG1 1EF. We are just 15 minutes from Liverpool Street Station. Tice Madox Solicitors. Try us. We are professional.
Hello, my name is Tice Maduforo, your preferred solicitor, and this firm, Tice Madox Solicitors. This program brings the very best as we discuss so many topics in a very simplified manner for which you can understand, have a first-class understanding of the topics we discuss. These topics are to kickstart your consciousness to law and to ensure that you take the appropriate step. If these matters are discussed, it's not for you, or you know what to do, you signpost it to your friend, your neighbor, your family friend, your colleague who need this information. I've brought so many topics. Today I'm discussing employment law, and my topic is continuing act of discrimination. Continuing act of discrimination. Now, you all know that you bring your employment claim within 3 months of the incident occurring. Yes, 3 months within the time the suspected and alleged incident of which you raise concern with. You bring it within 3 months of the act you complain. Now, the problem is working out the time frame, the timeline, and pinpointing the discriminatory act. Now, discrimination, as you know, can come in form of racial, also age, come in form of disability, and also come in form of sexual discrimination in workplace. And it is not far-fetched that this dispensation that we are now, the period that we are now, which is post-COVID, and obviously we're heading to another discovery of another variant of COVID. So a lot of work has gone online, a lot of work, people are working from home, a lot of people work from the office, people come into the office or work from home. Now, the issues of discrimination or issues that arise from employment are now even much more compounding rather than reducing, because now it is easier, it's much more an informal state whereby the supervisors, line managers, and the directors hold meetings remotely or even physically, okay, in that circumstance. And while this is going on, a lot has been piling up. In fact, it is not the act you complain. Most of you complain this act, not just this period, not just within 3 months, probably before 3 months, post 3 months, okay, or pre 3 months. Some of you have also complained about discriminatory act. Now, I did say to you, and I mentioned that acts of discrimination are more subtle than formal, very subtle, but you feel it. You will know. Once your mind tells you that you are being treated one way or the other, either by load work or by the amount of work you do, by criticisms that are completely out of question, that are not normal criticisms, and criticisms that probably goes to show that you're falling out of favor, from your line manager or supervisor or whoever it is. You know clearly that it leads there. Sometimes, and that's where Tice Madox Solicitors come in. Sometimes your feeling about the way you've been treated may not necessarily be discriminatory, but you felt something is off, either because your line manager or your colleagues are of 2 different race, okay? And you can feel it in terms of a reasonable adjustment which you require or requested, either as a female or as a male working in the midst of females or in the midst of males, and what you requested, either you're a parent, you requested adjustment because of your kids, your family needs and requirements, and which were actually treated with kid gloves, which means they're not giving attention to it, and all procrastination as to how to assist you achieve this so that you could achieve optimally in your employment. Once these things are being reduced and denied you, now you're leading towards some form of unhappiness within your workforce and your employment. Now, I always say this. Employment is your life because your economy is your life. Once you have no economy and no income coming in, apart from sliding into social welfare system, which is also to help you come up back if you have no employment. But some of you want to maintain your employment to a reasonable extent. Okay, why do you want to do that? But you do not want another fellow to scuttle down your achievements. You do not want another fellow to make your working situation very uncomfortable for you. You want to make sure that you work in a proper environment, and that is what the Employment Rights Act offers you. A good place in your employment workplace. So make sure that you are comfortable, you're not oppressed, you're not bullied, you're not harassed as a result of your race, as a result of your sexuality, as a result of your ability to work, which is the age, as a result of your disability. These are prohibited by law, by the Employment Rights Act and Equality Act. These acts provide to maintain you have a peaceful work experience. Now, let's come to my topic, continuing act of discrimination. Now, as I said, and I've introduced this topic, you could be working in your place of work and things are going well, but over the years, either it's a continuing act or break chain act against you by your line manager, either those remotely you can see or physically while you are working in a physical contact with your employers. Now, remember this, your line manager is a representative of your employer. Your line manager, yes, he or she is the representative of your employer, which means that any act or omission done by the line manager, supervisor, director is done on behalf of the company. So somebody may say, oh, it's my line manager. My company is actually good. My line manager is the one racially discriminatory against me. That is not true. The truth is that your line manager, your supervisor, act on behalf of your employer, which means the employment or the employer is vicariously liable to an act of the employee, which means against a fellow employee. So that is the law. So if you feel that you've been discriminated against, and a lot of you are going through that, as I keep saying again, which is why employment is very fundamental, very, very fundamental. And the parliament has released so much laws to support you in employment. Now, it doesn't matter whether you are a full-time employee, it doesn't matter whether you're an agency worker, it doesn't matter whether you are consultancy, it doesn't matter whether you are working on 0 hours, it doesn't matter the class of employment that you have. It doesn't matter whether you're self-employed. It doesn't matter. As long as you are committing financially, fiduciary relationship between you and the employer or you and the business, that has created Employment Rights Act in the terms that you are free to work within the content of your contract without being bullied, without being harassed as a result of your race, as a result of your age, as a result of your disability, as a result of your sexuality. That is not correct. Now, that is correct. I mean that. Now, let me say this. Certain times, work starts very smoothly within parties and nobody envisaged to have a problem during employment, and that's correct. No employee goes into an employer with a premeditated intention to formulate a problem or cause a problem with the employer or create a claim or employment claim or any other civil claim and or breach of contract. And I'm certainly know most employers when they recruited you or when they contracted you, and I'm very sure did not have such premeditated plan. That's correct. It all starts smoothly. But the question now is that because of the dynamic nature of work and of human life, and some things start going wrong as you carry on with existence and communication and interaction with that party. Now, that is where these things come in. either as a result of a reasonable adjustment requested by one employee, as a result of the disability, as a result of the sexuality, they request one reasonable adjustment or the other. And I can tell you this, it amazes me sometimes big organizations that have the great resources to approve this reasonable adjustment. Do you know, as simple as a reasonable adjustment, some employers will decline. It amazes me. And they will decline. Now, sometimes I wonder what human resources department they run with. Sometimes I wonder whether they have lawyers or they resort to lawyers to advise them on certain demands and reasonable requests made by employees and how it reflects legally. Sometimes I wonder, because I've dealt with so many employment matters whereby you see the employer, a very well-to-do employer, a company doing well, probably employing more than 2,000 workforce, 3,000 workforce, 100 workforce, 50 workforce, 10 workforce. But a very simple request by one of the employees is turned down, not even dealt with. Now, and they have the ability to refer these incidents or matters to their contracted lawyers, either in-house or outsourced lawyers. Listen, gentlemen, that is what Tice Madox do for you. If you're an employer and you really want to take hold of your employees to make sure that what the requests and working conditions are all in order and in line with the Employment Rights Act, Equality Rights Act, and also those of you who are also taking over other businesses, or or your business is also adopting other businesses, or merging with another business, or taking over by other business, or even closing down the business. You want to also seek proper lawyers who can guide you in your policy formulation, and also in how you deal with requests, how you deal with reasonably, fairly, proportionally, and appropriately with your employees, and you make sure that in that line your business sustains. No business will want to continuously come into contact with the employment tribunal, rather even upward to Employment Appeal Tribunal, even all the way to the High Court, even all the way to the Court of Appeal, even all the way to the Supreme Court. You will want to leave resources that will be injected back into the business to fight employment claim. When you have the ability, the power to have sorted the issue from the beginning, which means once a complaint has been raised, grievances have been raised by your employee, that it is dealt with, and remedies that are reasonably requested and reasonable at the time, proportionate at the time is applied. Tice Madox Solicitors will, from the foundation, assist you to ensure that you do not, as a business, shoot overboard to the point whereby resources needed for the business is committed to defending a claim. Tice Madox Solicitors will do that for you. As the employee, if you have gone through this process whereby you've been discriminated upon, and sometimes these discriminations come very subtle, as I said, and then it will now envelope, it will now metamorphose, it will now escalate into much more bigger claim or much more bigger discrimination. It starts from the line manager not liking or not really liking the manner way the other employee works. Either they are sluggish, either they are challenging to the line manager, supervisor, whatever it is. Let me use the word now, employer. They're challenging to the employer, they're challenging to, they are harsh, they are curious with the questions, which makes the employer very uncomfortable with this particular employee. They challenge the employer, sometimes for maximum, optimum production, but sometimes is read differently by the employer or the employee, also seeking for a balanced welfare because other parties have been balanced, and in terms of requests for holidays granted, in terms of adjustment granted by one or two other people. But that is why, as an employer, you must cut across your level of your attention must be equal to your employees. Once one employee begins to feel left out, and that is where it gradually metamorphoses to one employee complaining about the employer not listening, about employer not implementing reasonable, or even to the point where when what was requested is within the policy of the company. That amazes me as well, because some employees will request what is in line with the policy and guidelines of this company. of the employer, but the employer sometimes forgets to go back to their own policy to read it, to understand it. You see, business is a going concern. It means that you continuously read the guidance which guided that business from the beginning and which continue to guide that business going on. It is not an emotional ground whereby you show your emotion straight to the employee. And through the expression of your emotion at times without reasoning, employers have gone further to cause much more bigger, fireworks, ignite fireworks. And these fireworks lead to racial discrimination, disability discrimination, sexual discrimination, and all not, either by words spoken, either by innuendos, either by direct or indirect, either by talking to one person or the other. So this comes up, and once your employees start feeling that they are less appreciated in workforce, then you begin to lose it. You begin to lose it as an employer. The purpose of this topic today is not only to raise the Discriminatory Act, but also what is termed continuing discriminatory act. The word continuing means that it is an extensive moment whereby the act complained of has been continuing, in the sense that even if it's more than 3 months of which the employee should have lodged their employment claim, but have failed to do so within 3 months. But one singular act of racial discrimination or discriminatory act, let me use that word. And so when I use discriminatory act here, I want to inculcate and incorporate racial, disability, age, sexual, and any other, even parental, in the sense that, because the person is the parent. This also comes in as a lot of discrimination as well. But to fine-tuning it, to understand and to present a portable, flexible, plausible claim is when you rely on Tice Madox Solicitors. The guarantee to take your circumstances, refine it, and then produce a masterclass, a masterpiece, using the legal eye that understand what circumstances are to be apportioned appropriately to a claim, and present a perfect claim of which even your employer will want to seek negotiation to end the dispute without going to employment tribunal. If you seek compensation, Tice Madox Solicitors will work out what compensatory award is due you. If you seek to be uplifted from employment to the next stage, or in terms of upgrade in your employment or promotion, Tice Madox Solicitors will negotiate that with your employers. At least what is called dispute resolution or mediation as offered by ACAS. But in this instance, by engaging with professionals that know how to discuss, that understand commercial skills, that understand negotiation skills, then you rely on Tice Madox Solicitors. Ladies and gentlemen, I speak with much emotion because this is the work I do. I do that for you. This Tice Madox Solicitors will stand for you. What? Bridging the gap to make sure that your workplace is safe for you. That you make sure that while you put in your best, wake up in the morning, prepare yourself, arrange your family, leave home, come back in the evening, that it is worth it. Tice Madox Solicitors will ensure that all your input in employment has the replica of the input and output that you get in your commitment to your workforce, to avoid discriminatory act continually escalating. Now, the act of continuing discriminatory act start from, for instance, it has been ongoing. Either you have raised grievance or you have not raised grievance, but you have complained informally to your line manager or whoever, but it has not been taken seriously. Then afterwards, another occasion. Some of you have chains and events and occasions whereby you've been discriminated against. Your dignity has been put down and trampled upon. Only on the basis because you're an employee, but you want justice. Tice Madox Solicitors will offer justice to you. Tice Madox Solicitors will do that for you. Yes, we will do that for you. We'll make sure that we speak to the employers. We speak to the employers through the legal lens, employing and deploying all the skills necessary to deliver justice to you. And with great empathy, understanding very well that employment is your life. Employment is key for you. That if you lose your employment, Also understanding the repercussions of you, number one, resigning from employment, the consequences to the next employer who is employing you and realize you've resigned. And what is the emotional baggage that you carry on from your past employment into the new employment? We will soften that and avoid that from happening. Also, if you're sacked or dismissed from employment, the consequences add fast effects on you once you go on start applying to a new employment. What is the effect on you? You may lose some contract, you may even lose some employment, potential contract, potential agency work, because they may see you as a troublemaker. Sometimes they see that ought not to be, because that turns to be victimization then. But they've turned out. But we will ensure that your case goes through properly, sometimes in a serious, solid mediation, and achieving all that we need to do. Now, let me tell you the reason why mediation is important and pre-action protocol and it's very important. Tice Madox Solicitors have developed these skills dealing with discriminatory or any other employment claim. We have these skills. One of these skills is to not only in terms of engaging with the employer, we make sure that what we are dealing with, we have stuffed, prepared, galvanized, and corroborated and fitting all the evidence necessary in any event this case goes out to the trial, goes to tribunal. We have dealt with it. We have put in all necessary ingredients required. Listen, you cannot go wrong going with the best firm that understand how to work with you. You can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. Now, how do we deal with matters? As I'm discussing employment matter, the time is almost going on. How do we deal with this? Some of you think it's expensive to get a lawyer to deal with you. No, that's wrong. Let me tell you, we deal with this free of charge for you. Free, you don't even lose anything, but you get your dignity back. How do we deal with this free of charge? We deal with it by what is called the policy, what is called no fee, no win, or damages-based agreement, which means we sit down and analyze your case and understand that you have a good case going on, and we can deal with that way at no expense to you at all. This is a number one way you deal with matters. I will sit down with you and analyze your case, and I'll be able to see, using the strong legal eye, to understand the facts, circumstances, applying the law to each one of them to see it stands the test of scrutiny. And from there, once we are satisfied that this case meets a reasonable percentage of success here, we take your case on no fee, no win, otherwise called damages-based agreement, where you pay nothing. Then the employer, once we succeed in your claim, the employer pays us, not you. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it delivering justice to you? Isn't it giving you access to justice? That is what it is. It's been all let down in a very simple, simplified manner that you will not need to lose that, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we can also deal with your matter if you are capable to pay us. Of course, you can do that. You fund your trial, especially when your case is strong enough. We can also deal with your matter by way of property insurance or legal insurance from your property, whereby you could just contact your insurance company and say, oh, I have this employment matter going on and I need you to fund it. Your insurance will fund it. You don't need to do anything. Ladies and gentlemen, employment is key. Employment is your life. Because if you lose employment, your mortgage will stop. You have issues, or multiple issues. Your rent will stop. You will begin to face eviction notifications. You begin to face repossession. You begin to face issues in your health. You begin to have issues. If you have children, you have fiancés, you have spouses, also issues come up. You will not be able to meet your obligations to your debts or several other people as well. Obviously, your life would technically be on standstill. Tice Madox Solicitors will make sure that you never on standstill. You're moving on. Your economy is progressing. Your work is growing. You're achieving your purpose as an employee. You're achieving your purpose as a professional. What you set out to do as a doctor, a lawyer, as an accountant, and as an engineer, as a plumber, as a mechanic, as an accountant, whatever it is, as a business consultant, that you achieve your purpose in any field that you want to be. Tice Madox Solicitors will stand behind you to ensure that your employer do not scuttle and scuffle your dream. Your dream in employment is to succeed. Your dream in employment is to increase. Your dream is employment, is to also be promoted. Your dream is employment, is to be peaceful. When you get home, you're relaxed. If you are facing regulatory challenge as well as a professional, as a doctor, as a lawyer, from the disciplinary tribunal, from medical dental tribunal, whatever thing you're going through in regulation of which that it has also affecting your employment, Tice Madox Solicitors are there for you to deal with it for you robustly with great empathy. Because you see, it's difficult that you meet professionals who also put themselves in your position and know how you're going through what you're going through and try to make sure that you are on soft landing and you will not have to stress yourself. You go to bed and sleep soundly, knowing what? Tice Madox Solicitors have got you. Tice Madox Solicitors are behind you. Tice Madox Solicitors are working for you. Tice Madox Solicitors are representing you in your best interest. Tice Madox Solicitors are negotiating for you. Tice Madox Solicitors do not want you to go through unnecessary stress. We will deal with that on your behalf, in your interest, the way it works well, and deliver justice to you. Ladies and gentlemen, continuing act of discrimination is an act whereby you continue to have issues with your employer, especially when it comes to matters I've discussed here: race, sexual, disability, and your age. Some employers are changing workforce to inject new employees. That is age discrimination there. And they try to put in everything. I've said that in this program again. And I said, the reason why you're dismissed or the reason you put through redundancy is not necessarily what is put on paper. Tice Madox Solicitors will unveil the real reason. And when we unveil the real reason, you will see clearly that it's not what is stated on paper as the reason for your dismissal, is the reason for you to set you up in disciplinary. It is not the reason. Tice Madox Solicitors will work for you and achieve the success for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad discussing this with you. Till next time I come your way, I remain your regular host, Justice Maduforo. Tice Madox Solicitors.
Tice Madox Solicitors is results-oriented, but with a distinctive approach tailored to our clients' needs in our specialist fields: immigration law, criminal law, employment law, commercial law, family law, and contracts law. We are well equipped in our litigation and advocacy for the benefit of our clients, corporates, and individuals. Why not visit us at 5 Oakfield House, Oakfield Road, Ilford, London, IG1 1EF. We are just 15 minutes from Liverpool Street Station. Tice Madox Solicitors. Try us. We are professional.